Okay. So this here is a leaf, and leaves grow in the forest. Oop. And they blow in the wind. So when you're looking at a leaf, there are some basic structural components that are used to identify a tree when you're looking at the leaf. So this part, which is the flat green portion of your leaf, the fleshy flat portion, is your leaf blade. And then at the bottom of your leaf blade, you're going to find your leaf stalk. That's the twig portion that's connected to a twig or a branch, the leaf stalk. The top of the leaf is your leaf tip, and nearest to the stalk is going to be your leaf base. The outside of your leaf, going all the way around, like just the edge of your leaf, around the outside, that portion is called the margin. Okay, and I don't know if you can see, but in the middle of this leaf there's a line, and that's a vein. We call that the midvein. It goes from the base right here at the leaf stalk all the way up to the tip right in the middle. That's your midvein. And from this midvein there are other veins that are coming off the sides. Those are called your side veins. Midvein, side vein, tip, base, leaf stalk, and that's your blade. There are other components of a leaf. So when a leaf is hanging off of a branch, the portion that's in between the branch and the leaf stalk, that angle right there is called the axis. And I'll draw a better diagram to be able to show you what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard to see with this example, but right in between the twig and the leaf stalk, that angle, the axle, has a bud right here. This red part is the bud, and this part where the leaf stalk is coming out off of the twig is called the node. So we have one node, there's another node, and that's the best I can do there. I'll have to draw this out better. So I've laid out 4 different leaves here. These are all simple leaves. And if we take a look at the first leaf, when you're looking at this leaf and you're looking around the margin, around the outside, you'll notice that it looks like it has a sawtooth edge, little teeth sticking out, these protrusions coming off of the edge. It's not smooth. This one's pretty uniform, but sometimes they're not evenly spaced, and there's a big one and then a small one. There's a lot of different tooth margins because it looks like teeth are on the outside. This leaf has an untoothed margin because around the outside it's very smooth. It's very smooth around the outside. There's nothing that looks like a tooth. It doesn't look serrated. It doesn't look like the end of a saw. It's just smooth, where this is toothed. Untoothed, toothed. These leaves have lobes coming off of them. 1, 2, 3 lobes coming off of this. There's a center point right here that has 1, 2, 3 mid-veins that come to the 3 different lobe points kind of emanates out from this center point. And over here, the lobes, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 lobes coming off the side. But this lobe is connected to the center point, and this lobe is not connected down here where the stalk is attached. Where over here, this lobe, the mid-vein, is connected all the way down to this center point here. So this one is called pinnately lobed, and this one is called palmately lobed. The pinnately lobed leaf, you can think of it as a feather, where you have the middle part of a feather and then the feathers come off to the side from the middle mid-vein. And this is palmately lobed, kind of like a hand, where your fingers are coming off the palm of your hand. So this one's pinnately lobed, palmately lobed. The margin is a toothed margin. This one has an untoothed margin because it's smooth. I don't think that actually matters for that one. Smooth margin, tooth margin. Okay, and then if I come over here, oh wow, stuff fell off. Alright. Some more examples. Okay, so this is a leaf arrangement and this is a leaf arrangement. The difference between the two is that this leaf arrangement has a leaf that's growing to the right, going up the branch, one coming to the left, go up the branch, goes to the right, goes to the left, goes to the right. It's alternating as it goes up. This branch has leaves coming off at the same time from the center branch. And then here too, coming off from the center branch, opposite of one another. So this one would be opposite, and this one would be alternate. So those are your 2 different arrangements. There's a lot of different arrangements. This is just a preliminary sort of overview. When you're first starting to identify trees, starting with the leaves is a great place because you can see the differences very quickly, and you can use a quick guide with just a few basic terminology of what your leaf structure you're looking at and your leaf arrangement. You can identify a lot with that. And then if you throw in other things like pine cones, nuts, the best is to find a nut or a flower that's connected to something that has leaves, and if you can see it on the tree. And then the other way is bark. So if you're trying to identify a tree, you have to look at the leaves first, then you can look for nuts and cones, then you can look at the bark. You're going to be able to identify quite a few things if you have a book that's specific to whatever region you're looking around in. In the next video that I do, I'll probably talk more about leaves. Again, maybe get as many different examples as I can, because this is just the very basics. We can also talk about the different types of shapes that the base can have. The tips can have different shapes. Talk about the leaf shape itself. There are other arrangements, leaf arrangements out there, so that's good for a first video. And I hope you enjoyed this video. hope to be doing more forest ecology videos like this in the future. So